This late people are gonna start freaking out. Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? We're live. How we doing? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Caliber Corner Season 6, Episode 297. How much magnification do you really need? Let's talk scopes. The dog was barking. I had to get up and get the door, and we're here to have a good time today. Gonna end out the first 15 seconds of the podcast, but we're talking about magnification, scopes, lenses. We are on the eve of the November firearm season, and we're going to have fun. So let's get started talking about some glass. We got a lot of people out there on the YouTube side that are watching. This is episode 297. Let's go ahead and get started with the introductions, and then we'll do this. Single Shot, how you doing, buddy? What's up?
Good morning. Good morning, all. Hope everyone's doing a great day. And we're down here in Massachusetts, headed out to Indiana, as we usually are on a Saturday, up until this next Saturday.
Yeah,
I'll be headed out for the last run, and we've made the decision to finally get it done. The company has been very gracious to me. If I decide to come back after winter, then they'll take me back. I might not have this dedicated run, but they'll take me back.
You're retiring again for the first time, but you might go back out of retirement again for the third time.
Maybe.
You know what? Just don't even quit working. At this point, just stay on active duty and just,
I know. I probably should.
Because a month from now, I'm still making my weekly run to Munchies, Indiana, or whatever that town's called that you go to.
Muncie.
Muncie, you take a trailer load full of Doritos down there every weekend for Munchies. Muncie, what do you call it? Monchichi?
Muncie. That's where they make transmissions.
Yeah, I know. I know the hot rod thing, but Kevin June out there, don't forget to smash the thumbs up. Yes, we need it, everybody. We do need it. So Single Shot, then you'll have a lot of free time. You said you want to go out there and get some hunting in this fall, and you're going to play around with that little optic I sent you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We're going to try to get in as much as we can before we're going to go down south to see the kids and try to spend one or the other. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, Christmas or Thanksgiving, but we do want to go down and spend a little time with them and then come back in the spring, get things squared away. I'm going to try to do as much as I can to the house to get it ready.
Okay.
So we need some time for that. But so far, things are going pretty good.
Good.
And I'm going to have a chance finally to maybe sit down and do some videos so I can get back on the channels and put some video content out there. I'm going to drop a quick one there about the retirement there on YouTube.
Hey, that'll be nice, man.
That way,
well, if you do that, people are going to be expecting like daily content from you because you'll have the time. Because when you're retired, there's nothing to do, as everybody I know that's retired tells me, right? Although they seem to be more busy now than they've ever been their entire life. But
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because I've got so much stuff that I've got to do around the house and get things set, squared away for winter.
Cool.
So, I'm going to be busy. Man.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy for fall. You guys have no idea. I'm just elated that the weather's finally getting crappy. I was getting done 6-7 months of hot weather here in Nebraska. I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for the fall colors to come in. I'm down for some pumpkin spice latte loving going on there. So, that's right.
Matter of fact, I got some pumpkin pie spice coffee going.
There you go. Pumpkin spice is my middle name. So, yeah, that's right. Look at Squibby's like, jeez, I'm out of here. They can put it in soap, and they do put it in soap. I mean, they put it in everything. Pumpkin. They even put it in. If they don't do it, you heard it here first. Pumpkin spice scented gun cleaner. I mean, I really think that's the next thing that we need to have. So for those cold winter days when you want to warm up next to your bolt carrier group, they make pumpkin spice bolt cleaner. Look at this. I am just a genius with stuff. Really, people should hire me for stupid marketing ideas on stuff that people would buy. So I'm just saying. So yep. Pumpkin spice the musical. That'd be a good one. So. All right. Okay. So let's move on to Squibload. Squibby, what's going on? That's your interim coach for WK football, right? Wake Forest. Is that what it is? Is that
Waterford Kettering Captains? The Captains won last night. So
nice. Yeah. And you said
we were sitting there in the bleachers with all that wonderful weather you sent us. Thanks, Travis. Appreciate that. You see, or You can see how dark it is. That's
I'm
because
tempted just to turn the camera this way and just open my window so you guys can enjoy the Nebraska fall where it's blowing rain and 30-mile-an-hour winds. I freaking love it, man. I live for this
appreciate
stuff.
that. Thanks. Steve.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. Squib, just real quick, can you just shoot down Tony's comment? Leaves would be pretty if there were any trees in Nebraska. Squib, when you say I live in the middle of a forest, you've seen my place.
Yeah, there
I got
are trees.
Like
There are
100
trees
feet
out
tall, man. You know,
There are trees.
come on, man.
But okay.
Central Nebraska, no.
So here's the thing: unless it's decorative or it bears fruit, I don't like trees. I don't. I grew up in the South in the woods. I don't like trees. So cut them down, make some lumber, build some houses, set a fire. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of trees. They're they're in the way. They block the view. So once
and when you're a homeowner, they fall on your house and they kill people.
And all these freaking leaves
die,
and walnuts.
And then you got to pay $5,000 to get them cut down and removed because I guess that's the price to get wood taken off your property.
Yep.
But I digress. Yeah.
Yep. So no, I don't like. So when I get west of where you live and it's wide open, it feels so liberating. It feels so free. It
does. You get used to that. You get the claustrophobia disappears as soon as you go west of York, Nebraska. You know?
It's just that feeling of serenity.
It is.
Peace.
It's very primal. It is very much kind of a connection with the world. You know.
Yes. Yeah. And then if you want a little landscaping, just go a little bit further west, and you've got all that landscaping in western Nebraska. And
go north. You run into deciduous forests and conifers.
Yep.
You know, coniferous landscapes.
You can go up into South Dakota and go into the Black Hills.
Yeah. We've got lots that we offer. So I mean, and if you know what's funny is I went out to I went to Honey Creek, Iowa last week and I did a hike at the Hitchcock Nature Center. And the western edge of Omaha, I never realized how beautiful it is. Once you get into like the River Valley, the eastern edge of Omaha, Nebraska, as you start to go over to Iowa, it's beautiful. Rolling hills, landscape. You have the Luss Hills that were left behind when the glaciers receded. Guys, it is so beautiful. I posted pictures on Facebook of the nature center that I hiked at. And I told you about it. With 1,500 acres of Leave Me the F Alone. It was fantastic. So I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than just flat land and cornfield. Although that's kind of what it looks like.
That's 75% of the Nebraska. But
if you've gone through it once, or if you've only stayed on the interstate, and the thing is, you know, it you can say it's for everybody, but it really isn't. Because you know, I'd live there if you guys didn't have the exact same freaking winters we have.
I know. It's pretty well. You guys probably get. I would say we're a little bit different. You might have maybe a little more of a little bit longer winter than we do, possibly. We're just
so we get the lake effect, but because you don't have the trees in some parts of the state to kind of, you know, I guess act as a break. You get the bigger drifts, you know.
So here we go. I've got to shoot down G. Let me defend Nebraska again. At G23, we have a point in the northwestern panhandle of Nebraska that is over. It's higher than Denver. It's over 5,280 feet in elevation. So I can't say mountain, but we have hills, okay, but we do have a point elevation that's over 5,000. It's over 1 mile high. And so we are technically higher than Denver in western Nebraska. So
go up on the Scotts Bluff. It's a great view up there.
Yeah, we have bluffs. We don't have mountains, but yeah.
It's I mean, you could see in any direction pretty far. When I went up to Chimney Rock, I could see Courthouse and Jail Rocks from there. And so when I was at Courthouse and Jail Rocks, I could see, I mean, this is how the pioneers navigated. They used these geographical formations on the Oregon Trail to navigate because there wasn't like a road sign. So, you know, I mean, they followed the river, and which goes everywhere apparently, because I've crisscrossed the North Platte back and forth. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. You've got to kind of enjoy the scenery, or you've got to enjoy the openness to really appreciate it.
You get used to it after a while. What you don't get used to is if you're somebody who's used to having things nearby, like a Target or a mall or a Starbucks, you got to drive for those things. So you got to earn them. Panorama Point, located in Nebraska. Now, remember Nebraska, think about that elevation increase in Nebraska. I'm sitting at like 1,100 feet right now. 5,000, what are we at? Panorama Point, 5,429 feet above sea level. It's in southwestern Kimball County, near the point where Nebraska and Wyoming meet on Colorado's northern boundary. So, yeah, we are actually at a point that is, okay, it's the southwestern corner, my bad. It's not the northwestern, not the northwest, but the southwest. So, yeah, we do have a point that does go up in elevation, which is always kind of funny because now I understand why my gas mileage would be so crappy. Every time I go west, you're driving into the wind, and you're going up like 1,000 feet, like probably about every 100 miles, I suppose, something like that. So it's a pretty significant increase in elevation.
Okay, according to the Googles, if you're up on top of Scotts Bluff, you're at 4,651 feet.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I wonder if they don't consider it the highest point because it's a bluff, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah. So you can't actually get up there. So yeah, we'll call it Bluff Mountain. Bluff Mountain is what we're going to call it from now on. So because if that's all it takes. So what is this, M. Gabriel? Yeah, fall colors in Nebraska, brown corn. Dude, you ought to drive down Yankee Hill Road where I live. You ought to see the fall, orange, yellow. Is this Defend Nebraska Day? Is that what this is? Is this Sucker Punches on Nebraska? Look,
hey, as long as it's not me having to defend Ohio,
look,
we're
all
all
we've
good.
ever given the world is Kool-Aid and food. Okay, that's all, and lots of ammo. Okay, that's all we know.
There are trees up and down the road, and some of the other crossroads.
So rude,
It's not like some sort of country motorcycle ride where it kind of makes a tunnel, but
I'm not living in a sod house. This isn't Dances with Wolves, okay? I mean, I have cable now.
But the sod houses are south of you, where the trees stop.
I'm sure we have places.
That's
where
fantastic hunting country too over there.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's reasons why hunting shows come to Nebraska to get their footage because they can't get it done in their own state. So
Whoa.
Anyway, so yeah, where are we at? Hey, let's go ahead and move on to firefighter. He's been sitting there patiently for the last hour as we debate Nebraska whether or not if it's worthy enough to be considered part of the union. Firefighter, how's it going, man? You good?
Oh, just got off of a 10 weeks straight of overtime.
Oh my God, dude. Dang, you gonna go reward yourself? You gonna go buy something new? You got some toys on the list that go bang?
Yeah, my M1 carbine. Once I finally get it back from the gunsmith, it's been in the gunsmith's hand since March of this year because I had the front sight fall off while I was shooting it.
What did he have to do that takes 9 months to repair? I mean, my God, I could forge one by hand in the amount of time it took to make one of those things. I mean, I could sit there.
Like there were some delays. He had to move his shop.
Yeah.
Because the shop he had was charging him like $3,000 a month in rent.
Woo!
So he had to move to a different location. So that delayed the repairs. And then he just had back surgery because he blew out his back moving his store.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's crazy. You can hire movers at $100 an hour that are very efficient at what they do, and it's way cheaper than a trip to urgent care.
Yeah, basically. But other than that, I've just been sitting here debating which full size to semi-compact pistol is time to go under my coat.
Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, it's that weather time.
Squib would probably recommend a Glock because he's huge on those. That's definitely the Squib choice. He would just say he'd go with a G23 or G26, right?
Yeah. Okay, look. As the youngest panelist here, I'm gonna make
get a 1911, get a 1911 and 30 super carry because that's the caliber of the future. So
yeah, make sure it's plus P rated.
Yes.
No. I will be rocking my 1911 later in God's caliber 45.
Oh, there you go. I thought it was 40 Smith.
God's what do I look like? A 40 Smith and Wesson shield?
You might be a CZ guy. I don't know. Do you have a man bun and wear skinny jeans? You could be one of those 40 hipster kids.
40 Smith and hipster.
40 Smith and hipster.
No,
make 40 great again.
Skinny jeans are skinny jeans are a curse on the gene world.
And that's why we're not going to kick you off the panel. Good answer.
Did you get a man bun with that gun?
Man bun with that gun? Why don't you go to pumpkin spice chai while you're at it? Why are we bullying this poor kid? He's here hanging out with us today, giving us his precious time when he could be doing something way more productive with his day.
Travis, I mean, you can make fun of me for drinking Earl Grey while y'all are drinking your coffee.
Did you get it out of your replicator?
You know what? Hey, pro tip here: Earl Grey's got just as much caffeine in it as a lot of your Folgers does. So don't even start with that. But you refined tea drinkers of the world. Oh, I drink my tea. All right. Tea shaming. God, that's what we should have based this episode on. So, who had it?
I'm going to kind of roll it back to the pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
I have the feeling that when you make reloads, especially 40 cal reloads, that you put a little pumpkin spice in there with the powder, don't you?
I think so. Might add a little coriander, little ginger after smell to it when you fire it, and have like a nice orange bullet, and what was it? Kevin Jung out there said pumpkin spice toilet paper. I would want pumpkin spice scented toilet paper, maybe not flavored toilet paper, but Pumpkin spice toilet paper. That might be the new thing. Scented toilet paper. You know, back in the 80s, we had colored toilet paper. Remember that? They had
but didn't they
Yep.
get rid of that to reduce irritation of the rectum?
well, they said something about cancer, but what do they know, right? Why shouldn't you put dyes and things like that and stuff that goes in places like that? So, what do we got here? Merlin Norris said, lived in the Midwest for 16 years, 14 of those in Nebraska. Love the hunting up there in the fall, spring, winter time. We're treacherous driving. Yeah, you want to stay off Interstate 80 when there's 50-mile-an-hour crosswinds and wind, just in general.
Yeah.
They do a good job of shutting down the exits and the interstate. They've been much more proactive about doing it sooner than later now. Like they'll block an exit so you can't go on I-80 because it's not safe. Or if you go out there, nobody can get to you if something happens. So that's the reason why they do it. Myself, living out in central Nebraska, that was something I encountered quite a bit. So here we go. Defense Dad. In the grand scope of things, optics are important. M. Gabriel, a spot of tea in the harbor with you. Oh, man. So, wow. Okay, so some information for everybody. Real quick, I have been talking to Aegis Gun Care, gun cleaning products. And yes, I will be promoting their products. I'm going to be testing them. Okay, I'm going to do cleaning video number 100 this week. I've done 99 cleaning videos. The majority are firearms. There's been a couple about cleaners and a few about some specific gun parts to clean, but this is video number 100. The channel's turning 9, I think, next week, maybe today. I have no idea. Whenever I posted my Ruger 9E video, I think it was October 21st. That was 9 years ago. So, yeah, we're coming up on 9 years of doing the channel, 6 years of doing Caliber Corner. Next week's episode is going to be dedicated to gun cleaning because I don't know if we've ever done a gun cleaning 101 gun maintenance video ever. So we can talk about some of our favorite cleaners and products. And it's not going to just be an Aegis gun cleaning, gun care product talk, but I will have a chance to test their stuff. As somebody that's used Cleanse Oil for the last 3 or 4 years, I just want to try a different brand. And I know they're highly regarded by, Clover and Ghost and Gizzard Gary, Gun Snob. Those guys really like the Aegis gun cleaning products. And they're a small company. And, just as, me being a small channel, companies giving me a chance, I like to try to promote those other companies too. So I will have an affiliate link. I will have a discount code for you guys. And I'm just being transparent about it. We'll see how it works. And I'm going to be cleaning a Taurus TH9. That Taurus Tari usually come fairly dirty from the factory. That's been my experience with them. There's usually almost like a molasses kind of oil inside of them when you take them apart the first time. They've done a better job, but I've had some in the past that were just like coated. It was almost like it was almost, I don't know. It was just like a heavy, almost like a grease they would put in them. So anyway, we're going to do a TH9 cleaning video. And then I've been talking to Defense Dad. I'm going to work with him too and borrow a few firearms from him. I do have a 30-30, my Marlin 336 that I bought a couple weeks ago. I just put a Vortex Crossfire 3 to 9x40 scope on it. I'm going to get that dialed in this week, and we'll take it out and do an accuracy test with it. Maybe try a couple different types of ammo through it, as that'll be one of the guns that I would like to use for a deer hunt in the fall. 0 to 200 yards, and then I've got my Ruger American chambered in 308 that I've hand loaded a specific round for that performs like a beast. So I'll be taking that out too if I decide to go in November or maybe a January hunt also. So I got my camo last night, so now I have no excuse to not go hunting this year. I've dropped a lot of weight, so nothing fits. And so I had to get all new camo. First world problems, right? I know. So I had to go get new camo that actually, because everything I have is I swim in, including my work clothes. But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of where we are with the channel right now. I haven't had a lot of content come out because honestly, I'm at 1,500 videos and I've covered so much stuff that now I'm just kind of covering stuff as it happens. I'll be doing an update video on my Nike Pegasus 4 hiking shoes. Squib, how's your wife like those? Did she get them? Is she rocking them?
She walks faster now. I keep doing the whole Nike commercial. It's got to be the shoes.
It's got to be the shoes.
Right?
It's got to be the
going,
shoes.
I'm not walking faster. I'm like, you're walking faster. Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you. Okay, so I did 6 miles last weekend in those things on very rugged terrain. Everything from, hard packed clay to gravel to dirt, leaves, grass. And those shoes are just performers, man. And I only wear them for hikes and that's it. I don't wear them on pavement. You can, they're a running trail shoe technically, but you might hate Nike, but man, their hiking shoes are top notch, man.
Her feet didn't get wet in the rain last night.
Yeah. When you got the Gore-Tex ones too, and I didn't. I just got the regular ones, but I wish I would have, but it doesn't matter now. So, when it comes to hiking shoes, you can spend $100 to $500 on them, $400 like nobody's business. It doesn't take long, depending on the brand that you go with. So, what else are we talking about? I think that's all we got coming up for right now. So I will get the cleaning video out there. I'm going to do an update video on some of the stuff that I used on that hike and how well that stuff is held up and what I've learned on doing about 6 different hikes over the summer. Got another hike coming up here in a week or two. So that's going to be happening. So, all right, let's go and get started talking about optics. I want to just roundtable this one to start off. So when I started the channel, I didn't have hardly anything. I was using stuff, a few guns that I had, a few firearms that I purchased, right? And Tony says, what are these shoes? Tony, I did a whole video on them that you're more than welcome to watch. The Nike Pegasus 4 Trail, or the Nike Trail 4 is what they're called. Trail number 4. They're great shoes, man. I mean, they're $100, but they're just awesome. I mean, they're lighter than Merrell's or Keen's. Nothing against those. I love those shoes, but they're much lighter. They're more of like they're a trail rated running shoe, but you can wear them to walk in, which is what I do. And they just hold up well. I mean, after doing 5 or 6 miles, my feet were fine. Ankles were a little tired. My knees were tired because of the terrain, but my feet felt fine. The next day, they weren't aching or hurting. I got no weird blisters from them. And and if Squib's wife likes them, then they got to be good because she's very picky about her shoes.
She's very. So, oh my goodness, she drugged me all over Las Vegas for 8 freaking hours.
Okay, there you go.
Buy a pair of tennis shoes. I'm like, just buy the effing shoes.
Yeah. And then she watched my video, and then I used my Trap by Mind Tricks to get her spend $100 of her money. So.
yeah, and she tells me, she goes, this is more than I've ever paid for a pair of shoes. I go, honey, this is more than you've paid for all the shoes you've ever bought in your entire life.
You got Gore-Tex, which is like, what are they, 190? Is that what you paid for them? Are they 160?
Shipping, I was just under 180.
Okay, because I mean, mine were the non-Gore-Tex version that I bought were 100. So
these Asics I bought at Shields in Iowa City were 160. I mean,
Asics, Brooks, it's amazing what they get for running shoes these days. It blows my mind. The markup on them has got to be just unreal. The profit margin is got to be amazing.
Some sweatshop in Thailand, whatever. But I mean, that's kind of what you pay for shoes. I mean, you can get $30 shoes and they'll work just fine. But if you're walking, if you're hiking, things like that, if you don't spend the money on good footwear, good insoles, good socks, you're going to have foot issues. And when you're on your feet, it's not good. Some people might go, no. Look, dude, if you sit at a desk all day, if you're indoors all day, if you barely get up except to go get more food to shove in your mouth, go buy some cheap shoes.
Eat some Cheetos.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I'm a big fan of the Pegasus line of they've been out for 40 years now, literally. I mean, I feel so old. I got the Pegasus 37s. I'm like, Jesus, I had the Pegasus like 5 when I was in high school. I'm getting older. They get older.
We had them in boot camp. In boot camp.
Yeah, they're good shoe. You get your money's worth, in my opinion, as much as I know. And somebody said Under Armour is better than Nike. And that's fine. I mean, it's whatever your experience is with them. I know their shoes do hold up well. Under Armour shoes do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had Under Armour shoes. Their clothing is great. Their clothing is definitely great.
Yeah.
Their boots are
Another
amazing.
thing, Travis.
Yeah.
You got some hunting clothes. Did you just get outerwear or did you get some thermals or?
Yeah, what I bought. Okay, so I bought a pair of insulated bibs and an insulated parka. It's the Shields Outfitters line, and it's Veil Camo. Chaos is the pattern, so it's a late season hardwoods pattern, which works in anything. But because of the fact I'm in eastern Nebraska and I could potentially go off into some trees. Now, granted, I'll have blaze orange vest on. I got a good. It's a waterproof, water resistant, windproof, insulated parka and bib overalls, and they're normally $150 each, and they had them on sale for $100. And I mean, I got the whole thing out the door for a little over $200 with tax. And I just wanted to get bibs because it's just easier that way because I can layer underneath, and it's easy to change out of. You can get them dirty. They're easy to wash. Everything is. They've got some scent lock in them. They're not super. I mean, but they're just. I like Shields guide gear. Shields Outfitters brand stuff is good. It's like Cabela's store brand. You get your money's worth because when it comes to camo, we haven't really talked about this, but the parkas I was looking at between $100 and $500. You can drop $600 on a hunting parka if you want to. You look at Sitka or First Light or Meat Eater, some of those brands, and it blows my mind what you can spend on them. And honestly, here, as long as the wind's in the right direction and you can see the deer out on the prairie, I'm not going to say it's not a challenge, but it's not as hard as it would be, say, if you have to sit in the forest all day. So that might be a bigger deal, the whole scent lock thing and whatnot. So that's what I bought. I ended up buying it. I haven't done a video on them. I might. I want to maybe put them on and kind of stand out in the woods and see if you can see me and kind of see what they look like on camera. I'm kind of curious. But Veil Camo is the brand of camo that Shields uses, and it's called the Chaos series. They make 3 different lines of camo. And since I'm not going to be in pine trees, I'm not going to be in leaves, I didn't go with that particular color. But a lot of guys just use, out in Nebraska, you could use a desert digicam and you'd be fine because you'd blend in with the scene. You'd blend in with the background, the greens and browns and yellow, stuff like that. So, yeah. All right. So back to optics. When I started the channel, now Single Shot currently has the scope. I sent it to him. I gave it to him. I used it for years. I tested on probably a dozen different firearms, a center point, 4 to 16 by 40, maybe is what it is, 4 to 20 by 40. And I used it on everything, and it worked good. But like on like a Ruger 1022, it was kind of unwieldy. It was a heavy scope. It weighs over a pound. It was a ton of magnification. And I liked it because I started my channel in my mid 30s. And so my eyesight was not as good as it was in its 20s. I've always had corrective lenses, for as long as I can remember. And now I'm in my 40s. It's not getting any better. So I might be looking at LASIK or something down the road. So just kind of my experiences with optics is I had one scope that was kind of a do it all. It had Picatinny rings on it, and I could mount it on everything. And it was good. But since it started at a 4 power, at 100 yards, it was great. But man, I could crank it up and really get on it. But there are some trade-offs when you're at max magnification with a giant optic on top of your gun that you're holding and not benching. So first things first, you're going to want to get an optic that's going to be paired up with whatever you intend to go after, whatever you intend to shoot. You can get a nice Swiss Army knife style scope that'll be a be it all, do it all. And we'll kind of talk about that here in a little bit, as I've now dabbled in LPVOs and I love them. So single shot, what is kind of your philosophy with glass? What has been your idea? Have you tried to get a large magnification range, large reticle, objective lens? What's your thoughts on optics?
All right. They philosophy that I use may not be what everybody else uses, because there is one niche that somebody could use a higher powered scope on for long distance. That's this precision rifle class. So,
Okay.
I'm going to say stuff that probably people will disagree with me for that.
Yeah.
But for the general purpose, you're right. You got to use an optic that doesn't overpower the caliber and is set up for what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
If you're going to be hunting less than 100 yards or 150 yards in the brush, a fixed 4 power would be great.
Yeah, we were going to talk about the idea of fixed versus variable, because you can get a fixed power scope for those of you that might, we might have a lot of new listeners that are listening for the first time. We might have people that are going hunting for the first time. They don't know, there's some trade-offs with a fixed power, like at a certain close-up range, you're not going to see. So if you're running something that has offset sights, like iron sights, it'd be nice to have as a backup, or like an offset red dot. If you are running a semi-auto platform, which you can in Nebraska for game, to have that as an option for say 0 to 100. So so a fixed magnification level. I know that AWAG, who's been on here a lot, he's been a big fan of, I think it's like SWFA scopes or something like that, and he's big on the fixed magnification. He really loves that because it's quick. You get good optics quality because it's a fixed lens. You don't have that fisheye effect because you've got a purpose-made fixed magnification level. It's about as good as you're going to get it. Yeah. So you like your fixed power, okay?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, as far as magnification and power is concerned, I mean, you wouldn't throw a 4 to 12 by 16 on top of a 22, because you're never going to take a shot with that kind of magnification with that power. So
I do appreciate the magnification for range test videos when I'm benching it. I just want as much glass, and that's what I used to run. That scope I sent you, that was on a 1022. That scope weighed almost as much as the gun. Like, it was so top heavy. And the problem is at max magnification, which I loved, it was so sensitive. Like, it would just the wind would push the barrel and you could see it moving. You had to pull back a little bit. So, I mean, first of all, go to a store. If you're going to be buying optics, go online, do some research, Loophole,
absolutely. Sure.
Burris, Nikon, whoever makes the Vortex, whoever makes the optics that you want, they'll give you some good advice on what to get. What I like about Shields is that the people that work in those departments know that glass. In fact, Shields trains their employees at a Vortex training center, so they can recommend good scope for whatever you're going after. So I like to get good advice on stuff just to make sure that I'm not making the wrong choice. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, do your research. Absolutely. I just for the heck of it, I went out and I purchased 2 cheap scopes. One's an NC Star, and I forget what the other one was. Now that was a
like
pistol
an X
scope.
Aegis, or just some brand that's going to have, it's maybe made by 4 other companies, or 4 other companies slap their name on it. Yeah.
It's it's a 2.5 by 32 fixed power scope for a pistol. I says, I'm going to see just what this thing can take. And I just started into a new caliber on the Thompson Center Contender with a custom 15-inch bullberry barrel. It's a full bull profile.
Sure. Yeah,
and
nice
that
big
is
barrel.
chambered in 358 Winchester.
Hmm.
Now I'll tell you something. That thing's got a hell of a lot of horsepower. She'll let you know when you bust that cap on that thing. You got yourself a handful.
Okay.
And that thing so far has survived just a few because I haven't really sat down with that beast to line it up. But that little NC Stars has survived the pounding that I've given it so far. And that's why I bought it. I want to see just how far these things will go before something says, bye-bye, see ya.
So the only thing I'll say, and I'm somebody who has promoted, tested, pushed the $40 scope on my channel. I mean, Aegis, I tested their scope on a lot of rifles. Build quality can be inconsistent. And if the gun holds 0, and say you're 100 rounds in on whatever you want to shoot it in on, you should be fine at that point. You'll know within the first like maybe 50 rounds if it's creeping while you're shooting, those turrets are not holding that scope is going to have to go back or get returned.
Right.
And you do get a little bit more of a fisheye effect at max magnification, a little more distortion with cheaper optics. As I've gotten older, I've been spending more money on glass just because it makes my shooting experience much more pleasant, better light gathering, sharper images. I like that, and I'm willing to pay for it at an older age. But when I was younger, when I first started the channel, I would promote a $30 3-to-9x40 scope because it would come with rings and it would work. I would test it out to say 100, 200 yards, and it was fine. But I know like on some channels they'll like tap the top of the scope with like a hammer to see if it'll lose 0, and which is not unrealistic. If you'd ever drop the gun on the ground or you bump it on something or hit it against your vehicle or a tree, you could potentially lose 0. So it's nice to know if these have some sort of. But I will say this: the inexpensive scopes, the quality, the competition, it's really gone. They've really upped their game, But then again, we've always had $40 Tascos and Bushnells at Walmart that we'd buy. That would work fine. And like Monstrum, I look at Monstrum Tactical. I love their stuff. In fact, if anybody out there has an affiliate link for Monstrum, just put it in the chat over there on the side, Defense Chat. If you want to get it out there, or Gary, if you're watching, get it out there. I love Monstrum Tactical stuff. They're a little more expensive than the $40 or $50 scopes, but they have a lifetime guarantee. They've got good customer service. I'm running a $129 Banshee on a $2,000 AR because I love it. It's an LPVO and it runs and it keeps 0 and it works great. I have no reason to change it. And
That's something else that you look at is the warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Centerpoint is made in upstate New York. They've got a lifetime guarantee. I had 2 of them in that safe when that fire touched off down there in Georgia, and I lost everything.
Okay.
I took those 2 calibers out. One of them happened to be on a DPMS LR308.
Okay.
And the other one was on an Encore barrel chambered in 300 Winchester Magnum. Both of those calibers, especially the 300 Win, pretty severe on any type of scope that's going to take a beating. So I took it out to the range. That son of a gun is still POA at 200 yards. The only thing I lost off that scope was the red color. It was green and
the
red.
electric's probably melted from the heat inside. Whatever the diode or LED. Yeah.
It got so hot in that safe that it melted the plastic caps that covered the lenses and melted them. So those are gone. The other one on the LR308 survived at 100%, no problem at all. Didn't have a single problem with it. Still hits POA, and it's reasonable. Now, some people have said, well, the optics aren't all that great. And well, good grief, man. You're only spending $90 for a scope.
And that's the funny thing about
here's the funny thing about Schmidt and Bender or Night Force.
It's not a
spending
Swarovski or
$1,500
Steiner, It's funny how we are as gun guys. We'll drop $700-800 on a rifle, but we just expect a $100 scope to just be magic. Let's put a $100 eBay supercharger on our brand new Camaro SS and let's see how it performs. Right? We're stupid like that. We really are. And I was like that too. It's like, well, these $30 Magpul knockoff iron sights better hold 0. I paid $30 for them. No, man. A lot of times the gun stuff, I hate to say it, but you get what you pay for. Not always.
Yeah.
A lot of times that is how life is. So, I mean, it does kind of make me mad. And when I had the $40 scope, I'm like, look, if this thing will hold 0, if it'll perform out to 200 yards, I'm happy. I can put it on a 30-30, beat it up, not care. Great, wonderful. It does the job. If I want to spend more, I will. And I do now. I do spend more on glass just in general. At a minimum, I'll go vortex or primary arms and go up. Nothing against the cheaper scopes, and I built my channel on them, but I like something a little bit nicer, a little bit better glass.
Sure.
Yeah. So
And,
Centerpoint's a good brand to consider. Yeah.
And I really appreciate you sending that to me. That was a shock.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, I love it, but
that.
I've gotten to a point where I'm getting much more specific about the optics I put on the rifles, much more kind of in sync with what I'm going to be going after with it. So I'm very, I don't necessarily need a large scope like that now because I'm not doing anything super long distance. Or if I do, I'll get a Vortex Diamondback, or I'll go with primary arms or Leupold. Yeah. No, man, I hear you, and I'm glad you can get some use out of it. Let me know how that sucker runs. So.
Oh yeah, that's already got a home. It's going on top of my 6.5 Creedmoor.
Sweet. Oh, there you go. And that's actually something I'm looking to get. And I want to get a Tikka 6.5, but I don't know what to do for an optic. I was going to talk to Mead Ammo because they're going to be a distributor for an optics company soon. I don't want to say who because I don't know if that's official yet, but it's supposed to be happening. I haven't been to the Mead website for about a month, but I'm going to check and see if it's on there. So cool.
Yeah. So
all right, man.
Look forward to a lot of new optics. I've got a bunch of them that I'm going to be doing reviews on. Some of them I've got on firearms that they're being tested. That's why I've got them mounted on those firearms, and it's going to be an interesting ride for some of them. My brother and I found out here a little while ago. We both got 15-inch 44 Magnum barrels for the Contender. And he had a red dot on his. I had one on mine, and we found out that particular red dot would not withstand the horsepower of a 44 Magnum.
Yeah,
especially when you pull the trigger and everything goes screwy inside of it.
I honestly, and I don't know if brands would matter, but you're gonna want, if you're gonna put a pistol grade red dot on a rifle or a shotgun, it could work. But you want to do your research and see if it's gonna work. I mean, honestly, that's a point where I would almost hate to say it, but I'd honestly go Trijicon at that point. Something that I know is and it doesn't matter. You can't always get past the physics of the design build and the recoil. You can't get past that. And so that's the other thing too. Is do you go with the red dot and put that on your gun, or like an inexpensive sight, red dot sight, or do you go with the scope? And that's why I like the LPVO, because I've got the 1 power. Granted, it's not going to be as fast for target acquisition as, say, a nice big old fat red dot would be on top, but the LPVO gives you the flexibility of being able to. And if you don't know what an LPVO is, it's a low power variable optic, like a 1-6, 1-8. It gives you an adjustability that'll let you bring in something at 150, 200, 300 yards and make contact if you need to, but then take it back to 1 if you'd have to CQB or go with something a lot more up close and personal. So I like that flexibility. Granted, they're heavier. They're not necessarily cheaper than a red dot. It just depends on what you want to do. I got the LPVO on my Daniel Defense M4A1 because I want something where if I've got to defend within 50 yards, I can do it. If I've got to take shots at 100, I can do it. I might want to run it through some courses and stuff and just play around with it. So and I mean, I had an EOTech on there. I've got 2 EOTechs and they're just sitting in the safe right now. So, Okay, let's go ahead and move on to Squib. So Squibby, you're an iron sights guy. I'm an iron sights guy. I've got this wonderful Walther PDP that I can shoot just dead accurate with off the iron sights. I haven't given in and put a red dot on it. What experience do you have with optics? Maybe some former military stuff going on. What's your thoughts on the magnification level of the optics? Do we sometimes, is it overkill sometimes or not? If you put a Hubble Space Telescope on your 1022?
My military experience with optics, virtually none.
Yeah.
We didn't use them.
Okay.
The only optic we had was a PVS4 Starlight scope. I've used that. It's got very little magnification, and it's not as advanced as some of the current night vision stuff. Yeah. I mean, they're more than just green blobs, but that's really the only optic I used. We were trained on iron sights, and we were all young. We had good eyesight. We had to go get an eye exam every year because we worked with lasers. They were not visible to
you'd have to use infrared to see them.
Yeah, when we used night vision goggles, you could see them. We mounted them. We would mount them on the crew served weapons on helicopters. And that was something we had to, because we were exposed to that stuff. They wanted to make sure our eyes
didn't burn your retinas.
And back then I was young. I had really good vision. It's not like today where you see me doing this.
You got the readers on. You got the Papa Squib readers on, I got my readers up on the counter over here now too, and I got my contacts in. Yeah.
What's weird is when I put on the readers, I look like Ed O'Neill. But I don't mean Married with Children Ed O'Neill. I mean Modern Family Ed O'Neill. So
yeah.
Whatever. I'm waiting for somebody to ask me for an autograph. But anyhow, we just didn't use optics. So I really wasn't trained with them. It wasn't something I understood or I even cared about because my eyesight was great. Well, when I started deer hunting, I started late. I started in my 40s. And I went out there with iron sights. And at first I had that buckhorn sight that you didn't have a problem using. And my wife didn't have a problem using. And two of my friends didn't have a problem using. But I had a problem using. So my buddy said...
They cover a lot of the target, and then you just don't really know like what is zero on that thing. Do you bury the diamond into it? Do you put the diamond on top? Because that little bit could have a 1 to 2 inch difference even at say 50 yards.
Yeah, it can. And it just wasn't working for me. And one of my buddies said, "Dude, you're used to military rifles. Get a peep sight." So I put a peep on there. That helped. And that kind of, for me, it draws more light in, or you could say it just allows me to focus on that target. It's what I'm used to. Peep sights are just what I had. So that worked, but I said, all right, my eyesight's getting worse. I noticed in my late 30s, I'm writing a purchase order and I'm transposing a 6 for an 8 or something like that. And it's getting rejected and kicked back. And I'm going, ooh, this is bad. So, my locksmith told me get some reading glasses, and I did. And I would hide that stuff. I just didn't want people to see.
I was joking with my students. I said, hey, you guys want to see what I'm going to look like when I'm 50? They're like, yeah. And I put my readers on. The whole class busted out in laughter. And and the seating chart, I'm like, oh, who's here today? And I've been tempted to put them on a couple times, but I can't bring myself to do it. I'll hold out my clipboard like 4 feet away, and they think there's something wrong with me. Like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what your last name is.
Yeah, it's bad. And what I found was with my eyes, it's not that I can't see, it's light. Like this is dark for me, right? Whereas when I was younger, I could read like 6 font on gray paper, in the dark. I mean, it was just, so I'm having the reading glasses really just bring in light. If you ever see me with that O light you gave me, I got that. I'm reading labels in the grocery store or something like that. The light is, you put the light on, I can see it perfectly fine.
So are you going to maybe transition a bit to optics as you get older if you want to do some more shooting? Do you see yourself maybe putting an optic on something at some point, like a 30-30 or what?
I don't want to go to an optometrist. I look at them like chiropractors. They just sell you more.
I do too. Mine forced me to progressive lenses. She literally just dropped it on me. She's like, oh, we're going to go move you over to a progressive lens, which is bifocal territory. It's like a it's an LPVO pair of glasses, variable optic glasses,
But that would resolve the issue.
Market that pumpkin spice. Yeah.
If I went to an optometrist and I got prescription lenses, I could probably use iron sights again, right? But I don't want to go there. I'll just wear the reading glasses. I've tried the reading glasses with handguns and rifles, and it doesn't work, right?
No, because it's going to get blurry. Yeah.
My schedule sucks for deer hunting. This year I might have a little bit more time. I don't know, but it's every year I'm scrambling around. So I don't get as much time out there as other people. So I've got to make every opportunity count. And I finally decided, screw it. I'm just progressively, my eyes are getting worse. When did the deer come out? First light, right at dusk, right? It's darker. It's harder to see. I'm not saying I haven't bagged a deer with a minute of legal light left with iron sights. I have, but I finally knuckled under. I got a loophole. I got a hold of Hawaii Volcano Squad, and I said, hey, man, what kind of scope you got on your rifle? And he had a loophole, so I got one.
Yeah,
they're American made. And
you get a VX series?
Yeah, I tried to. I can't remember if
they're awesome. I love.
I was asking about the brand really, and if he liked it. And they're American made. I'm not saying the other scopes suck or nothing, but I was like,
lifetime guarantee.
Yeah. And I said, this is what I want to go with. So what I did was I got a scope, I got a rangefinder, and I got a pair of binoculars, all on sale at Bass Pro Shop, all at the same time. Just done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was another thing too, is I see my buddies, they're hunting, they got rangefinders, they got binoculars. I'm like, and I found out that makes a big difference to have that as well when you're out there.
Oh, definitely.
And it's like, look, man, I'm spending all this money to hunt. I mean, you just bought clothes. You know what that crap costs. And there's all the other.
I just dropped $200 like it was nothing. It's like,
$200.
Make it
and
rain,
I butchered 2 deer before, and I don't want to do it. So I just pay somebody to do it. So at this point, I'm not really making any money or saving any money by hunting. And I don't take any thrill out of killing these things, but they are a nuisance. I mean, if I can eat a varmint, why not?
You came out to Nebraska and got a 300-pound, 10-point buck, you'd be pretty elated. You'd have a trophy mount that would just be like, oh my God, this is bigger than my living room.
I'd be complaining about having to come back to get because you
can't
bring
and come get this. I'd be sending you deer jerky through UPS for months, Yeah.
But regardless, it's already costing me in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go ahead and just, I got the optic, and it made a world of difference with my old eyes. And it's like, look, you guys could say I'm in denial about my eyesight, and you wouldn't be wrong either. It's true. But I said, this makes a world of difference. Well, I've shot a couple 450 Bushmasters. I actually borrowed a buddy's, and he had a Nikon scope on that thing, inexpensive scope. And I mean, it works.
They make good ones. In fact, I think Nikon's haven't they gotten out of optics? Because they used to make a Nikon 223 scope.
I don't know if
it was for ARs.
Something else, or
I think Nikon quit maybe, or maybe they got bought out by somebody. But they did make very good glass back in the day.
It was 2 or 3 years ago, and I borrowed his rifle, and I'm like, dude, what kind of scope is this? Nikon is like $120 or whatever, and we're great, right? And I'm like, all right, I'm getting a 450, and I'm gonna have to put an optic on it. Well, I wanted to go AR, and for the most part, they come flat top. So you're either gonna put an optic on there, or you're gonna put iron sights. So I'm like, I'm forced to put an optic on here, and I had a heck of a time getting it the right height. That was a problem, really. I had to put spacers in there to raise it up. Once I got that, it was good to go. I went with another loophole. This time I decided to get a little bit more as far as for the low light, to draw more light into my eyes. I got one with the fire dot. That's kind of nice. I don't always use it, but I got one.
What do you have it mounted on again? What'd you say? Is it on the 30-30? Your loophole that you got? What'd you say?
So I've got a VX Freedom 3-9 by 40 on my Henry.
The Henry, okay.
And that's in 44 mag. And then I've got 3-9 by 50 with the fire dot on my 450 Bushmaster AR-15.
Oh, okay.
I liked it so much, I just stuck with the brand. I stuck with but this time I'm like, something that's going to bring in more light. And this one's called the Twilight Hunter or something like that. It's designed to bring in more. And once again, I got I need the light. And
did you notice the increase in the light gathering ability with that optic? Does it seem like a little bit brighter in the evening and early morning, or not?
No.
You don't notice it?
No,
well, okay, I'll tell you right now, if you had a $40 3-9 by 40, you would notice a difference. You'd be like, oh my God, it's like night and day. But maybe your other loophole had already gotten you adjusted to increase light gathering, so it didn't look much different because of the glass. Yeah.
I'm not, it works. It works.
Yeah.
I've bagged deer with both optics. I'm not saying loophole is the only brand out there. I'd like to get a couple Trigicons. But the next scope I get depends on what I put it on. It could be another loophole. There's a couple rifles I've got that I might mount an optic to, but it's probably primarily going to be for hunting, because I've already invested this time. Yeah. I've invested this money. I'm using vacation days, or I'm driving 2 hours north, or hour and 10 minutes west, or just all the other crap. Like I said earlier, in for a penny, in for a pound. So for me, the guy who likes milsurps, trained on iron sights, is in denial about getting older, and doesn't really see the need to spend all that money on an optic, it's money well spent. Because if I put all that effort and money and time into deer hunting and I come home empty-handed, what's the point? Right? And I'm not worried about the trophy. I'm not saying I got something mounted on the wall, and if I got something good like that 300-pound buck in Nebraska or something, sure, I'd pay for that. Once again, and for a penny, I might as well just go for it, right? Yeah. But it's just, I'm out there freezing my butt off in a blind, waiting on a dumb animal to walk across my path, and then I'm going to miss because I'm too cheap to buy an optic. I'm too cheap to get a good set of rings, stuff like that. Yeah. So, I mean, I hand load for hunting, and I've already got a good 450 load worked up. I've got a 44 Special Plus P Plus. I've got a 44 Magnum, where these work. So every year it's something else to add to my toolbox, something else to add to my experience. And those VX Freedom scopes work. I think they're affordably priced for what they are. Like
400. They start at $399 for 3-9 by 40 is $400. I almost went that route, but the only reason why I just went with the Vortex is because I'm looking at 0 to 200 yards in my 30-30. As long as I've got sharp glass and as long as it's going to hold 0, that's why I just went with and it was 150 for the Crossfire 2 that I put on mine. But I wanted to get a loophole really bad, but I couldn't really justify the cost. If I was going to be doing shots further and I really cared about the optic quality that much, then I would have gone a VX series.
I would say go to Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's for their Fall Hunting Classic, which is, I believe it's already over. I haven't shopped it in a couple of years, but that's where you're going to get good deals on stuff. The only thing is you might want to check stock online before you drive out there. For me, it's 15 minutes.
Well, okay,
For
see,
other people,
Shields has their winter hunting event that just started today. So they've got optics on sale. They got gift cards. They've got, and like I said, they're guys that work in that hunting department at the Lincoln Shields. They know their stuff. I've never been misdirected on anything. They train with it. They're hunters themselves. They go to they don't care about what brand you get. I mean, obviously Vortex trains. They send employees to the Vortex like shooting school, and they get to train on Vortex optics and learn about optics, and they can make recommendations. The nice thing about Shields is what they told me is if anything happens in the next 12 months, just bring it back and exchange it. They just said, bring it back with your receipt and exchange it. We're not even he goes, you can call Vortex. He goes, but we're a Vortex distributor. He goes, bring it back in. We'll send it back to Vortex. We'll get you a brand new one. No questions asked. I'm like, okay. That's nice to know because I don't have to contact Vortex to send it in, but they're fine with customer service. They're getting better. They're like, there's a story about some dog chewed on some guy's binoculars and he sent them in and they replaced them for free. They don't care what happens to their stuff. They just want you out in the field with usable gear. And again, that kind of customer service is what sells a lot of people. You know, that's made me a customer now, 3 Optics in with that brand. So Single Shot recommends Centerpoint. Squib, you like the Loophole. You've had good luck with them. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add on that? You've just had good luck with them so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that if you're struggling with your irons because your eyes, or you're really pressed for time and you've got to make every shot count and that sort of thing. At the end of the season, if you're frustrated and go, man, I really need an optic, you've got months to save up money and then shop the fall sales, get a good price. And if you're, I worked out, I made out pretty good because the binos, the rangefinder, and the optic were all on sale. I just had to buy the rings at normal price. I think I ordered those in advance. And that's the other thing too. If you got an AR flat top, you might have to get a set of risers. Make sure you got the right height risers.
Yeah.
But a good set of rings, that sort of thing, something to mount it to, something that's solid, something that's going to work. Make sure you got good eye relief on that. That's going to matter. But you've got months to save up. If money's a little bit tight, you can do that. And then when they go on sale, bam, you walk in there and you just take care of it. Give yourself enough time to mount it. Give yourself enough time to get out there and use your hunting loads. Maybe over the course of the spring and the summer, you purchase, if you don't reload, purchase some of your hunting loads so you've got it there so you can use that when you sight it in and that sort of thing. And just be prepared in the fall. The other thing about that too is just understand that they might be out of stock. You might get down there for the big sale and they only have 4 in the store and they sold out like that.
If you can buy online to do an in-store pickup, do it if you know you're going to go there anyway. And a lot of places will do free shipping anyway, or free shipping after a certain amount. And when you're buying optics, it doesn't take much to hit $100 minimum. So, yeah.
Yeah, just another thing to remember on, you guys mentioned about your light gathering. That's to do with the size of the objective and the tube. The larger those are, the more light you're going to gather.
Yeah, the trade-off is going to be obviously heavier. If weight's an issue for you, there's going to be increased weight. Depending on what your application is, you might not care. You might be fit and it doesn't matter.
So that's what ended up happening with the second one I got. The Twilight Hunter had a bigger lens on it. And because of that, it didn't fit. It actually was pinched against the top of the AR, and that's why I had to put in risers to raise up the scope rings.
Go from like a low to medium
because
height.
it was bending the scope. I was missing. I'm dumping 450 Bushmaster downrange like crazy, and I'm all over the place. I'm like, what the
you
heck?
can't have the optic touching the gun.
Well, my buddy looked at it and he goes, "You got $1 bill?" And I pull out a 20, and he tries to jam it between the scope and the rail, and he goes, "See this? It won't fit." He goes, "You're flexing this." So we shimmed it out with cardboard. And we still couldn't get it off of that. He goes, "Dang, you got a bend on this thing." And I go, "Did I ruin it?" He goes, "No, it's a loophole. You'll be fine." And I ordered a set of risers for it because we went looking all over for risers, couldn't find them. Ordered a set of risers, put them on there. It brought it up off there. Now I can slide a couple credit cards between it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And what do you know? Bang, I'm hitting dead center. I'm like, okay.
And if you are going to put a scope on your Marlin 336 or your Henry lever gun, because if you're going to keep that rear field sight, iron sight, I'd recommend, like in Shields, I took the gun and they do free mount and balance, free bore sighting on the gun, and they'll get it completely set up for you. Because I wanted to make sure that the rings I was going to buy would clear that rear sight, and I have about a 1/4 inch of space from the barrel, the front part where the scope angles out towards the objective lens, that just clears my rear sight by 1/4 inch. And as long as I don't pull it back, it's going to be fine. So it's mounted properly. Everything's torqued down properly. I Loctited all the screws and everything, so it's good to go. But they did a nice mount and nice, they didn't bore sight it because I didn't have time. I could have got the gun bore sighted, but I'm taking it to the range anyway in a few days, so it didn't matter. But on a 30-30,
yeah.
And like you said, like what you ran into, Squib, if you can take the gun into the store and get the stuff there, because they're fine opening stuff out and putting it back. They don't care because they'll repackage it and put it on the next gun if somebody wants it. So, Squib, quick question for you. Defense Dad wanted to know if you've tried the Monstrum tactical rings yet that you got on Thunder on the Prairie. Did you get a chance to? Did you even go into your grab bag from Thunder on the Prairie or not? Because I think we threw maybe 3 sets in every bag. There was low, medium, and high. So
I haven't done it. Why?
Okay, well, because now you got to go buy an optic to test them out, just to see if you tested them. Because we haven't used any of the Monstrum rings yet. I don't have any. I gave them all away, so I have none for myself. But we gave low, medium, and high rings to everybody that attended the show. We gave you either 1 inch, I think it was 1 inch rings or 30mm rings. So yeah. No, he was curious to see if you had any good luck with them, if they worked or if they function or anything. So
no, they're probably behind me in a bag.
They'll be in your bag that everybody got.
Because I only have 2 optics. Unfortunately, I'm not the optic guy. Like I said, I might put something on a couple other rifles somewhere down the road, but for right now, it's a matter of just deer hunting. Otherwise, it just now something too about that is make sure that you get the right size rings for your scope, because if you think you've got a standard and you've got a metric and that sort of thing, or if you were like me and try to order it in advance, just make sure you've looked at the specifications and make sure that when you buy it, look on the label on the box and make sure that you got the right size. Otherwise, you're going to get it and then you're waiting to get more. And that's another thing. You might find rings where you're buying the scope, but then again, they might not fit, or like me, I looked all over for risers. Nobody had risers. I had to order them. So
and the other thing to remember too,
a bunch of them myself.
Yeah, when you go higher on the rings or you go with the riser, you're potentially looking at having to take your cheek off the stock, and that could make it. You might be having to look at some sort of a cheek pad in order to give yourself something to brace against, especially at the 30-30s. It's such a fine line of balance between being able to have a cheek weld and also clearing that front sight. So that can definitely be a challenge. So real quick, let's go on to Firefighter. Tell us about your optic experiences, and then we're going to let Rich give us his introduction. So go ahead, Firefighter. What works for you, man? What's your optics choice or magnification thoughts? How do you feel?
Let's just say I'm the one sitting here taking notes right now. You would think because I'm the young guy, I'm all optics
I was going to say, your eyes are probably fantastic. You're probably running all that high-end Trijicon stuff, and you've got your ACOG on everything, and
Oh, hell no. I am iron sights. The only scope I have is a simple red dot on my Target 1022.
And that's it. That's it. So now we're going to go spend some of your money.
I'm sitting here taking notes, and I'm also following Swamp Fox Optics on all social media. And I'm sitting here going, ooh.
Their red dots seem to be good. I would trust Ghost and Clover and those guys that test them, and Snob and Obnoxious One. Those guys, I trust the work that they've done, because if they fail, they do show that stuff happening in their videos if those optics don't work.
Did you just say you would trust Snob and Obi? What's wrong with you, Travis?
Absolutely, dude. They test more high-end gear than I could ever imagine.
I know. I just gotta get.
I know. It's like I trust their opinion. No, but seriously though, dude, I would take their opinion over anyone, because if it doesn't work, they're going to show it to you. They even mention that in social media if something fails. Yeah.
Well, I have a problem of I have a slight stigmatism in my dominant eye, so I can't find scopes that solve that issue really well. But
are you looking for like a rifle, a red dot kind of optic for any rifle?
No, just my summer carry pistol.
Well, we're just talking optics in general, like magnification levels. How much do you really need? That's kind of the idea.
If he was talking like for a home defense rifle or something, I was going to tell him get a prism scope, but they don't make them yet for handguns, so.
I was wondering about that if anybody did. I don't know if Trijicon made one or Vortex makes a prism scope yet or not. Because it's got an edged reticle that lights up.
There are handgun scopes, but they're made for revolvers and not semi-autos.
Okay. So I'm sure we'll get a prism here soon. Like Hollow Sun or somebody's bound to make. That'll be the next thing we'll see at SHOT Show in January. You heard it here first. So
with them making the smaller, fully enclosed red dot style optics that they're putting on handguns like, what is it, the Acro and some of the ones like that, they may eventually get to where they have prism scopes that size. So I have bad eyes too, and especially with the stigmatism, I can't use a red dot. So I'm hoping that eventually maybe they figure out a way to reduce the eye relief that's necessary for a prism to where they can put it on a handgun.
Well, don't forget the fact you've got holographic projection that will work with stigmatism. Holosun makes a holographic projection optic for your pistol. You've got obviously EOTech, so you've got that option. So even if you've got stigmatism, like I do too, it doesn't starburst out on you when you get a red dot. For me, it's weird. Like I have astigmatism. Apparently, it's really bad, but I'm still able to use my little Vortex red dot about 10 years ago, and my primary arms classic red dot with no problems. It slightly flares, but not much. I mean, if I really focus, I mean, I can see the dot fine. So I don't know. My eyes are just weird, man. I can't explain what's going on. So
yeah, I had a Vortex Venom on my Vepr 12 that my son now has his Scorpion. I wouldn't put that on a handgun because it's great for on a shotgun because the blob makes up the shot pattern.
Yeah, just overlay the blob on what you want to make a blob, and you'll have the accuracy you need. So yeah. So Rich, let's go ahead and move on to you then. What's kind of your thoughts on scope magnification? Is it possible to overdo it? And what is kind of your go-to for optics? If you've got something on a rifle that you run, what do you like? What's your favorite brand?
It's definitely possible to overdo it. I mean, you get a 22 and you put a scope
Hubble telescope on the top of it. Hubble telescope, you know?
Yeah, I've seen people with 22s that had scopes that were meant for 6.5 Creed or 308 or 30-06, and that's just way too much scope for on a 22.
Yeah, yeah. Rich, real quick here, are you playing with your knife? People think you're clipping your toenails right now. Are you playing with a knife?
It's my knife. It's my fidget
See, we're all
spinner.
sitting here. This is what we do. This is our what do you call it? Our fidget spinner.
It's a manly fidget spinner.
This is what we're all sitting here just fondling our knives right now. Just kind of like, And I'm just sitting there chatting, playing with the Wagner, cadet or whatever.
It's like he'll sit there and on his show and he'll be playing with a knife. I'll sit there and I'll be playing with with his pen, and I play with my knife, and Kingpin's always yelling at me on my show to put the knife down.
Knife ASMR. Here you go. We should do gun ASMR. That's another thing that would make lots of money for me too. I should get into that. There's a lot of weird people out there that are into that. The sound of bolts engaging.
Sadly, Travis, there is a YouTube channel who does that.
Gun ASMR. Yeah.
But
my favorite one is Donut Media with the car ASMR. They do those funny videos where they close things and open them with the microphone, and they like pet the seat material and stuff. It's so funny. So yeah. Anyway, no offense if you're into that. I'm sorry. To each his own. That's cool. You need help, but it's cool. It's fine. So, okay. So what else, Rich? What else is your go-to? What do you prefer? Anything else for optics? What have you had good luck with? Bad luck with? What are your thoughts?
Let's see. Primary Arms, their optics. Yeah. I've had really good luck with their optics.
Me too.
So the one of the red dots that I've had that really didn't bother me too much was on my AK, and that was one of their mini red dot.
Is it that classic one that goes red or green? Like you can
they have
one that's like $89. That
was just a standard red dot. It was the first of the micro ones that they put out for rifles.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I think I bought it off of AK-47 Operators Union's website.
Oh, okay, yeah. Primary Arms, another good option. So we've talked about Vortex, Loophole, Primary Arms, Centerpoint. Those are all, and a lot of it's going to depend on what your budget, and Monstrum Tactical. A lot of it's going to depend on what your budget is. We haven't really gotten into first versus second focal plane, which we'll talk about that before we're done today.
Let's see. On my AR-15 SBR, I have the Primary Arms. Was it the Cyclops Prism Scope? The one time on that. So I've had really good luck with that thing. And that, absolutely crystal clear. No blob, anything. Got that etched reticle in there, so even if the battery dies, it still has the reticle.
Oh yeah, that's Prism scopes are really nice.
Yeah, it's the one that has the ACSS reticle that has the bullet drops already calculated and everything.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and a lot of times the reticle it'll be calibrated for a certain caliber. Like you can get the 5.56 reticle or the 30 cal or the 300 blackout or the 308.
In the manual for the Cyclops, they have what each of those dots represents in different calibers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They have a chart for 9mm, 223556, and I think it's 308.
Okay. So you can just add that to your dope notes, and you're all set to go. So yeah. Cool. Oh, I didn't realize they do that. What is this? Defense Dad says all the cool people have astigmatism, but we still let Rich hang out. Yeah. We're all blind,
Hey, I have astigmatism too, so that makes me one of the cool people. So
we've broken up. We've all broken up the beautiful lines of a lever gun with an optic on the top of it, because we want to hit something. That's the only reason why. I know it doesn't look good, but
I have not put an optic on my Henry lever action yet. I am considering it though.
Well, I mean, it's a good excuse to go buy one and not put an optic on it, just so you have one without the optic, so it makes a nice, mantle mount or whatever. Put it over the fireplace.
It comes with the lever wheels already,
I know.
the top of the receiver.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. All you people out there that say lever guns shouldn't have optics on them, then why do they make them with lever rails?
Let's make you 46 years old. Let's put you out in the woods and say, go bring home dinner. And then we'll see how you feel about your buckhorn sights. Okay. Where I'll be laughing my little tail off with my 3-9 as I take a shot at 125 yards. Venison. Yep. All right. So yeah. And that's the thing. I'm a Marlin 336. You're talking about the mounts. My Marlin does have a base mount on the top, and I went through Monstrum and got the Picatinny mount because I just wanted the most flexibility possible for mounting optics on that gun. If I decided to do a red dot or something or whatever on the lever gun. So I decided just to put the Picatinny rail up there, and then I've got pick rings that are Vortex rings with that Crossfire 2 that I put on it. So now Vortex makes $80 like precision rings, and then they make $25 just basic hunter grade rings. They're both great quality. The screws and the hardware are wonderful. Just torque them properly. Use a fat wrench if you have one to set the inch-pound torque properly, and you'll be fine. Let's see, I'm trying to think here. Those rings, I've got them on 3 other rifles or 2 other rifles. I've had no problems with them. So I said, no. I said, we're not going to put the $80 rings on it. I'm not precision hunting. I'm just going to be taking shots out to 200 yards on we're talking deer. So it's not like I've got, it'll be easy for me to do. And so I didn't want to drop that extra money in it. So here we go. Once again, $800 gun, $150 scope, that's heretics here, but still, yeah.
Well, my favorite deer rifle that I used when I was in my late teens, early 20s was my stepfather's J.C. Higgins copy of the Marlin 336 and 3030, and that had I'll probably screw this up because it's been like 30 years. It had a Bushnell 3 to 14 by 40 scope on it.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Bushnell, Simmons, they're Casco. They'll work. You'll get the job done. You might not get the best optics quality out past, say, 200 yards. That always seems to be the cutoff point with me with a lot of the optics I test on the channel. Once you go past 200, you start to get the fisheye effect. You start to get the hazing and the distortion.
Yeah. The thing is, with 30-30, you really weren't shooting much beyond that anyway.
No. And that's why I just went with that Crossfire 2 with standard rings. 0 to 200 yards.
They're all made by one company, and their warranty is good, even for a reasonably priced scope. Same way with Centerpoint. Same thing.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing is that lifetime guarantee has become the standard for a lot of brands, and I think that's important if you're going to buy one optic and keep it on there, and you're going to do a high round count. If you're really going to put a lot of rounds through it, or you're potentially working in an environment where the scope could take some damage, you want to consider getting something that has a lifetime guarantee because it's worth the investment. So, and again, the idea of the magnification, it's a hard question to answer because some people might want massive magnification with their optic because it's easier for them to see, but they might not realize out in the field it's going to make that gun very unsteady. And, you want to definitely get a magnification level that's going to work with what you do. So that's why I always said like 0 to 300 yards, 3 to 9 by 40 is going to do the job. But everybody's different. You might say, well, I can hit a 6-inch plate at 600 yards with my 3 to 9. Good for you. Your average person probably can't. So that's why I said the 3 to 9 by 40 is a nice starter. And then there's like a 4 to 16 by 40 or 50. At that point, it comes down to whatever will fit on your rifle and whatever you can properly shoulder without having to make too many modifications to the stock. The
biggest thing that a lot of folks have mentioned to me about having a variable higher power optic on their firearm is to check a target. Okay, if I want to shoot a 10-point, then I can't see it real good at full power, so I'm going to zip it up to 8 or 9 or 10 and take a good look at the deer before I make the decision to dispatch him. it's all in everybody's choice. You know, everything that you do in life practically is got to be involve a choice, and you've got that option to work with. Most of the time, if I've got a high-powered optic on the top of my weapon, then I'm gonna set it on the lower power.
Yeah.
You know, say 4 or 6 power. And if you're hunting in the brush, you want the thing on 4 power anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So another good thing too that a lot of people have disagreements with that I've proven, if you've got a 4 to 16, you take the magnification maximum and divide it by 2, you zero it at that number.
Yeah.
A 3 to 9, I'll zero that at 6 power, because there is some change in point of impact. If you zero at 3 and you zip it up to 9, and all of a sudden you're off your point of impact. That's not to say with the more expensive optics, but it does exist. So you have to keep that in mind.
Something I do want to go through too is when we talk first versus second focal plane, they recommend one of those
Yes.
that you zero at max magnification, and your bullet drop compensation markings, your MOA markings, are only going to work at that magnification level. You got to keep that in consideration. I always start off at max magnification, even if it's like 25 yards or maybe a minimum of 50, just so I can get the rounds on paper and see where they're going. Then at that point, I'll walk the dog and bring the rounds back into zero, or do a one-shot zero, which usually works really well, where you just shoot, manually move the reticles down to your impact point, bring your reticle back on the bullseye and shoot again, and it usually brings it within a couple inches. That's kind of how I do it.
Very well.
But yeah, you might be, and like you said, if you're going to be doing, say, 0 to 75 yards, you might not want to fix 4 power, or you might not want a 4 power to start off, because that's going to be, if you had to do 25 to 50 yards on a shot, it's going to be blurry. You're not going to be able to get it. So that's why, and again, for you, those of you guys running, say, AR pattern rifles and stuff, consider an LPVO, because it's a nice all around, 1 to 6, 1 to 8. You might not have a massive reticle, but you can usually get on site with a decent amount of eye relief and really get on target quick. So, I mean, that's why I've really become a fan of the LPVOs, just because of the flexibility of what it provides. Because back in the day, I'm just like, I need max magnification so I can see this target, so it looks good on camera when I shoot, But that's not always realistic for a real life application, say hunting, or something else along those lines, if you need to use it for something more, more serious. So that is something to consider. But yeah, all right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Tommy Gunn was asking if we're having issues finding 30-30 ammo around here.
I don't. We've got a ton of teals. No, for a while it did disappear for almost a year. You couldn't find a box for lack of printed on it, and it's a hot caliber for Nebraska deer hunters. It really is. So it would sell a lot anyway.
It's the most popular deer hunting caliber on the East Coast.
Okay.
Because of all the brush and everything that you find around here, it's just.
Yeah, for us, it was hard for about a year to find it, but now it's back. The only bad thing is now it's about $10 more per box than what we were paying pre-COVID. It was $17, $15.97 at Walmart for a box pre-COVID, and now it's $27 a box for Core-Lock. Yep. So, and I'm almost at a point where I'm ready to just start loading it myself, just because it would pay for itself if I did enough rounds.
I know Tommy's up there in Canada, and that's a big place, but you may have to just shop around different areas and see. It might just be your area where it's in short supply, man.
Yeah, it's a possibility. And then just might be maybe that. And up there, that might be, since you're talking more maybe larger game or elk or moose or something, you might have higher grade calibers that are kind of more the standard, I think, across the board. Where here, you get a lot of varmint hunting, a lot of deer hunters and stuff. So they'll go 243 on up for the most part. So, all right. So real quick, I just want to just share this with you. The whole idea, or Squib, do you want to say something? Or, because you turned your camera.
No, I had to step away, so I'm back.
No, that's fine. Yeah. No, that's fine, dude. Real quick, the first versus second focal plane. I just want to read this to you real quick so you know what you're getting yourself into. So, first or second focal plane reticle. A rifle scope's reticle is placed in either the first focal plane or the second focal plane. First focal plane puts the reticle up towards the front. Second puts it towards the rear. The main difference between them is with an SFP, the reticle will appear to be the same size regardless of magnification. With an FFP, the size of the reticle will appear to change as the scope's magnification is changed. With an SFP reticle, the spacing for holdover in the reticle is only correct at 1 magnification, usually the highest setting. If the scope's magnification is set lower, the size of the reticle relative to the target changes and the increments of the spacing will change. So you might not be able to use those MOA markings like you normally would. You can use a mathematical formula to figure out the spacing for each of the power settings, but it can quickly become complicated and confusing. If you do all of your long range shooting only at the highest magnification, this is not an issue for an SFP scope. You'll be fine. One advantage is that you've got a strong and easy to see reticle, even at the lowest magnification. So you can see the difference there in the picture between the second focal plane and the first focal plane, what it does when you increase. Notice at 20x on FFP, the reticle's gotten larger, but then so is your image. And then at 20x SFP up on the top there, your image has increased, but your reticle has not. Now it says an FFP reticle appears to grow larger or smaller as the scope's magnification is increased or decreased, respectively. In reality, the reticle maintains the same perspective with the target size throughout the magnification range. That means the holdover points remain the same throughout the range of magnification. So, for example, the 6 MOA line is at 6 MOA in the lowest setting, the highest setting, and everything in between. Now, it says, now the last thing is, so the downside. The downside of first focal plane is that it appears small and thin at low power and gets thicker at high power, so it can be hard to see at the low settings and can cover too much of the target at the high settings. For hunters, the low magnification setting is often just as important as the high magnification setting, so make sure you look at the reticle at all power settings before buying an FFP scope. So, and then it says which one's best. That kind of depends on your application, what your philosophy of use is, in the words of Nut and Fancy. And I will say this, that rifle scope that the LPVO that I have, the Monstrum Banshee, I can't remember which focal plane it is. It has a very thick reticle on it, so it's not something I'd want to use necessarily for deer hunting. Now, silhouette targets, people targets, right? That kind of tactical application, it would be fine. But I mean, just to try to get like a 1-inch group can be a challenge because so much of that reticle is covering up your bullseye at 25, 50, and 100 yards. It's hard to really see. But I do love that reticle that the Banshee uses. And for $130 scope, it's nice. It's very nice. So that's the idea behind first versus second focal plane. And then like if you go to Monstrum Tactical, just to kind of show this off real quick, just to show you like what a new shooter is going to run into, say you're new to this whole thing. Like we said, a 3 to 9x40 and just about any of the main brands would be a good starter scope for about anyone. But if you want more light gathering, that last number, the objective lens, the bigger you go, many times the better the light gathering capabilities, but it also depends on optical quality. What I can say is when it comes to optics, take it from some old guys here, buy once, cry once, get the higher grade glass from the start. You'll be happier with it for the rest of your life. If I took all the money that I've spent on lower cost scopes or all the money I would have spent testing all these low cost scopes and just put it into 1 or 2 really good optics, I would have had much better optics from the start and probably had better shooting from the start. So like you go over to the Monstrum website, I mean, look at what you got here under optics. First focal plane, prism scope, second focal plane, scope accessories, scope mounts, magnifiers, replacement parts. If you got an AR pattern, look into an LPVO, either first or second focal plane, depending on your application. Banshee series is inexpensive to get into. The Spectre's the next step up. Prism scopes, we're not really talking about those today because we're working on magnified optics, but you've got plenty of options if you don't want to go the Monstrum route because you just don't want it. That's totally fine. You've got loopholes, you've got primary arms, you've got Vortex, you've got Centerpoint. And then you can also get into Trijicon, or you can go Swarovski, or you can go Steiner. You can spend as much money as you want on an optic, depending on what you want to do. I would really recommend going into the store and testing it if at all possible before you take it home, because you might get it and find out there's something you don't like about it. You might find out it doesn't mount on your rifle properly, and then you've got problems. So just something to consider. Okay. I'm just seeing if we're missing anything else out there. Tony York says at extreme ranges, the FFP reticle covers too much. Yeah, there's your thing right there. So go SFP if you know you're going to be shooting at an extreme distance because it's going to bring everything in. Tony says FFP sucks. And I don't know what the Banshee is, to be honest with you. I should probably look real quick. I don't even know if they even say what it is. So I go under optics here. I've already closed it out, but I was kind of curious because I do mention it in my video where I test out the Banshee. I do talk about, I'm not going to mess with it right now. But for what I'm shooting with that, which is like 0 to 75 yards, 0 to 100, it works fine. But as Tony says, once you really get out there, yeah, I mean, it really starts to cover up your targets. You got to keep that in mind. So, okay, well, we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. We've talked a lot about the different options that are out there, the magnification levels we like, the brands that we choose, where to start if you don't know. Maybe just, reward yourself. Go out there and try a little bit better scope if you get a chance. You might be surprised with how pleasant it is to use and how much you enjoy having higher quality glass. I know I do as I get older. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it. We'll give a little shout out on the YouTube side here. We'll let the panel give us their their outros, and we'll go ahead and start our Saturday. So, yep. M. Gabriel says, don't forget the illuminated reticle for low light. Yeah, that's also important, and a lot of your scopes come with that. Yeah. Oh, Rich, I didn't know if you were going to comment. If you wanted to add something.
I was just going to say, even in broad daylight, an illuminated scope can be handy.
Just to distinguish the contrast of your reticle from your target, if depending on what they're wearing, what it has for colors, I guess I should say. So yeah, I agree totally. Green and red is nice to have the options for. I prefer red over green personally, but if I have both on a scope, I'm not going to complain. I just kind of play around with it. But I like the red personally, the red with kind of the black outline around it. That works best for me. And the Banshee does have a lit reticle, which is really cool. So. All right, so single shot. We'll go ahead and start with you. Why don't you go ahead and give us your parting words, and we'll continue next week. We're going to talk about gun cleaning and gun care. So, single shot. What do you have to say, man?
Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. What's left of it.
Yep.
It's to each his own on what you want to use for the scope, what your query is, how you tend to hunt, still hunt or stalk and hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And it also makes a difference on what you got for a pocketbook. So there's a lot of options out there that are available, and in my case, you got to go with the eyesight. I got astigmatism, and I'm 67 years old.
And we're all screwed. We're all buying optics here. I wish we could get like optics insurance, so when you buy optics later on in life, there's another thing we can market. There we go, man. We're just
there you go.
Just pumpkin spice it, and you can make money from it. So that's it. So,
oh yeah.
Yep. Pumpkin spice or ARAK grease. Yeah, but anyway, yep.
I wish everyone a fantastic weekend. What's left of it, and always remember, America moves by truck.
Always. And you said next week is your last regular run with your second round of employment retirement. Is that how this works?
Yes.
I'm confused. Okay, you're going to be retiring again for the first time. Okay,
we're going to take basically the winter and find out how things are going to work out financially. And if it works out financially, then I'm going to stay retired. You kind of got to go with what you got for bills and what's got to be done.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work going on in the background here, folks.
Oh yeah. Bills don't pay themselves, man. And our habit, our that's code for Travis has to be. I do, but I can generally hold it till the end of the show. So again, not to
Gatorade bottles are for me.
Anyway, no, I'm good. I'm just we've talked and we're good, and I've got family en route, so I got to start my Saturday, so it's all good. But yeah, all right. So single shot, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you being here for years now. It's good to have you on the show, and we should have a little single shot retirement party next week, I think. So we'll get some cake and some ice cream, and I'll eat it in front of all of you guys. Yeah.
That's just mean. That's just mean.
That didn't work so well when Sarge had the birthday party for Boomer on his live stream years ago when he almost set his house on fire.
Oh God!
Oh God!
Lighting candles and like the curtain goes up. Yeah, everything we have as gun people is flammable. You probably don't want to light candles within 10 yards of where I'm sitting right now. It'd be very, very bad. There's lots of things that like to go pop around me here. So yeah.
Everybody else had a cupcake, and I didn't get the memo apparently, and I had to go and grab a donut.
Getting a little donut gem, a little Debbie donut gem going on.
I had a blueberry sour cream donut.
Yep. Oh man! All right, and
my
then
wife had just bought donuts that day, so I was lucky, or I wouldn't have had anything because I didn't get the Sarge said he sent emails out to everybody earlier in the week to have like a cupcake or something. I didn't get the email. So like scrounging running around the kitchen trying to find something in pre-show that I could use, and all we had was donuts. So
dude, you got to do what you got to do. Just put a candle in it,
Yep, that's basically what I did.
Nice. I don't even have any. Well, okay, I've got candles in here, but nothing I can put. Like I have to sit my 100-hour Patriot Supply Company candle on top of my cake or something. That's the only candle I got in the house. I just keep that for emergencies. I got a couple of them. All right, and Assistant Coach Squibb, anything you want to say before we go? Our special teams coach Squibb there, WK football in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing I can think of. No.
All right. I got you. Okay. All right, firefighter 09100 about to go spend some money on glass this weekend. So it's a good thing you've been working all that overtime so we can spend your money for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Travis. Other than I still got to go get breakfast too. So, I'm going to go get a pumpkin spice donut from Dunkin' here in about a few minutes after I figure out 1911 or 9mm for fall carry today.
Ooh. I don't know. That's a tough one.
1911.
Yeah, I take it from the old man. Go 1911. Go classy. Keep it classy.
Yeah, I gotta keep single shot there, with a smile on his face.
That's
Till
right.
he has his retirement party next Saturday.
That's right. Retirement party / gun, how to clean guns podcast. So like I said, I'm gonna bring a cake next week. So I'll be like, congratulations, single shot. I'll sit there and eat it in front of you guys. All right, man. All right. So firefighter, thanks for joining us, man. Good having you here. Appreciate it. And a little late to the party, but always a welcome guest. Unloaded Media, Rich in the house. Rich, anything you want to say before we go? You want to plug the podcast since we didn't catch you the first time through?
Yeah, well, usually I do a wrestling show on Saturday nights at 8:05 p.m. Eastern, and then Sunday on the Unloaded Media channel. We do this week Unloaded at 8:05 or 8:30, excuse me. But due to the little bit of a health scare I had a couple weeks ago, I haven't done the show the past couple weeks, and I'm probably not going to be doing it tonight either.
Okay.
Hopefully be back with that next week. Just my sleep and everything's so screwed up right now because everything that's happened. I haven't had the energy to try and run a show on the weekends. So
no, that's fine, dude. Yeah, I hear you, man.
Just wanted to jump on and let everybody know, yep, I'm still alive and kicking. I'm still here.
When I don't want to say anything, I wanted you to bring it up because your health is your business. But whatever you're comfortable sharing with people is, that's
yeah,
yeah. We're glad you're okay with it. Seriously.
Yeah, just had this random thing where I just blacked out in Walmart and ended up whacking my head off one of the counters and stuff. And
dude, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah. There was no warning or anything. I'm just standing there waiting for my wife. She's using the photo printer with her phone. They've got those photo printers reprint the photos out from your phone. Next thing I know, I got a bunch of people around me fanning me and everything. It's
like 2 for 1 Boston cream pies. Last thing you remember is looking at the tasty cake section and then game over, man.
Yeah, I told her I was going to walk around and look at the laptops, and next thing you know, I'm on the ground. I had no idea. I have no idea what happened.
And they're on top of your lap trying to revive you. Yeah. Damn, dude, that's scary. That's scary.
Yeah, it is, man.
It is because it's like, okay, that doesn't, and you don't, you could have killed yourself, dude, if you would have hit yourself, just right.
Yeah. Somehow I whacked my head off one of those damn steel counters they have and didn't give myself a concussion.
Well, at least it broke your fall. Well, maybe that's saying something about your noggin. That's a good sign.
I told my wife, silver lining, we know I have a hard head now.
Yeah. Well, you got that special gift that Foz sent you, so you can just
wear that you saw that short.
You start feeling lightheaded, you can put it on, and you're just like, There you go. I got an extra bike helmet I can send you.
Yeah, my wife saw that, so she went and took a video, and I uploaded it as a short.
Look at this, Tony. We're all falling apart. We're all dying. I had a sugar crash a few nights ago and passed out of my garage door. So no, it's probably all that ammunition you've been stocking up. You caught sight of it. You couldn't handle it. It was too much for you to handle, so you just passed out in front of your garage door. So, ease, man. Woke up, had a dog mauling me, trying to get me up. Hey, there you go. That's a sign of a good dog right there. So, look in your face, yeah. New York Outcast. So, if a guy ate more salad, drank more water, it wouldn't have happened.
No, I think the problem is I've been eating too many salads because I've been eating a lot of salad, fruit salads.
Yeah, your blood sugar dropped.
Sugar crash,
right?
Outcast. Sugar crash. You can't fix that unless you have like a carrot with lots of ranch dip or something.
Man, you got to carb out.
Got to carb out, bro. You got to have a nice couple of some Olive Garden, breadsticks with that Caesar salad that you're putting down. So
I ate a pound of French fries before I went to the game last night. And then I had a large fry from McDonald's when I got home.
You said you weren't going to eat anything before the game. That was your weight loss plan.
I know.
I'm not eating anything. You don't eat nothing at the game. So I'll do a large fry before I go to the game. What difference does it make?
I've been skipping meals on game night, and I lose weight that way. But I thought about what happened to Rich, and I said, all I need to do is pass out in the bleachers and fall.
Yeah. So I do want to put one out there, the Travis P11 McDonald's Fry Challenge. Go to McDonald's and get French fries. See if you can make it home without tapping that bag. It's not possible. It is impossible with that bag sitting next to you in the passenger seat or your significant other holding that bag to not reach in there and just grab that cup of fries and just pound it on the way home, man. I'm telling you.
Or you could take the squib load McDonald's French fry challenge and see how many large McDonald's French fries you can eat between McDonald's and the way home.
Dude, I would just put that whole thing. You know what's really bad? I finally broke down and got it. My family kept bugging me to go try the Mambo sauce from McDonald's, the chicken nugget dipping sauce. That stuff is hot, man. It's got cayenne pepper in it, and I love spicy food. Man, I had some hot meat sweats going on, and that was just chicken nuggets, dude. And then they also have their spicy jam that they sell now too, which it just tastes like a chipotle or jalapeno jam. Have you tried it, Squib?
No, but now
you go get it. You're supposed to put the jam on a breakfast
mind
sandwich.
Me again, doggone it. Now we're having McDonald's for lunch.
You mind trick me into that jalapeno cheeseburger. Did you watch my video on my B channel or not? Did you see my taste test on it? You ever watch that?
No, but I guess I'm going to go over there and
That same night, you said, "Oh, that jalapeno cheddar burger's so good." I went over there and bought one, and I made a video, and I blamed you for it. So thanks.
Yeah. My wife last night, she stopped on her way home from work and just grabbed some of those $5 bags from Wendy's, and she got the ghost pepper sauce because they didn't have the buffalo sauce anymore. My son ate the ghost pepper sauce. He said it was weak. It wasn't spicy at all.
Really? Sometimes they just kind of overdo it on fast food sauces with the sugar or the spice or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I love Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich, but he said that ghost pepper sauce was really weak.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they advertise it that way to draw in people, but they don't make it too strong because they'll have too many customers complaining, maybe.
Yeah. Unless they have like a warning, they really promote it as like Taco Bell had like their XXL hot fire border sauce or whatever. They put like flames on the packet or Diablo sauce. Yeah, if you call it devil sauce and you complain about
the one that's in
the black sauce is weak.
It is like most things at Taco Bell, but yeah. Defense Dad says that he eats grass-fed beef, Rob. It already has salad in it. So there you go. Yeah.
He's multitasking.
Absolutely. Rob, there you go. Killing two birds with one artery. So yeah.
Rob also said always have a Snickers nearby. Well, that doesn't do you any darn good if you don't have a warning that something's going to happen, Rob.
That's right. Just have one in your just take your magazine holster and just put a Snickers bar in it. There you go. That's another thing, like Kydex
Believe it or not, I've seen
Snickers
people
holster.
who've made dip holsters and one to fit a standard cheeseburger from McDonald's.
I've seen it. There's a Kydex. Didn't We the People make like a Big Mac holster one year or something, like a Whataburger holster or something, or a Whopper holster?
I think so. Oh, and also thanks to you, Squib and Travi mine.
What'd you buy?
What'd you order some McDonald's for delivery off of DoorDash right now. So yeah, I just beat your challenge. I got 3 large fries coming to me.
That doesn't count. You have to get it yourself, and you have to drive home with it with that smell, with your windows up, and not tap that bag, bro. I'm telling you, it's not
Travis.
possible.
No, wait a minute.
Travis 11 channel.
I'd have a whole bus and or the Uber hating on me then.
All right, so DoorDash is. How do you know they're not dipping into this thing on the way?
They probably are. I'd be tapping fries if I was DoorDash. They won't notice a missing nugget. Nobody counts the nuggets before you eat them.
Delivered to the factory a couple of times.
Yeah.
I would demand a wax seal on that bag. That way, you know if they broke it.
They do seal it.
Yeah, they seal it. McDonald's. No, they seal it really good.
You can peel back.
No, they staple it.
Oh, there's a hack somewhere on TikTok that shows you how to tap that bag. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm willing to
get a hair dryer and then use like a hair clipper to reseal it. Yeah. They'll show you how to seal a Kia in 5 minutes. I'm sure there's a video out there on how to steal, how to crack open a DoorDash bag so you can steal a nugget. And then, like, you just say, well, the bag was sealed. They shorted you a nugget. You already got your tip anyway, so it doesn't matter. Tony York, I like Arby's horseradish sauce, the horsey sauce, but it's a bit weak. Do you like a tablespoon of that? It's got that horseradish wasabi essence to it. It kind of burns a little. But I agree, it takes a lot to make it happen. But what's that?
Going back to the Snickers holster.
Yeah,
instead of you got the little warming packs for in your gloves. Instead of those, get little teeny tiny ice packs that go in the Snickers holster to keep it from melting.
You know what? Talking about holsters and stuff, Hot Pockets never sent me the email for those cargo pants. Remember, they were making cargo pants that had an insulated Hot Pocket in them, and that was legit. They were going to make them and sell them, and I was going to order a pair of them.
Yeah,
they had insulated cargo pockets for your Hot Pockets, so when you travel, you can put them in there, so you can take your Hot Pockets with you on the go. You have to just sit there, just pulling out like in a meeting, and just start eating it. Oh, I'm just having lunch, Oh my God, of all the stupid stuff that people buy, I'm telling you, we just definitely we lead the species. So here we go. Defense Dad, you got to try the Chick-fil-A spicy honey pimento chicken sandwich. It is so good. So it's a spicy chicken sandwich.
I prefer Wendy's.
It's got pimento cheese spread on the
chicken
top,
sandwich.
on a brioche bun with honey. Oh, dude, it just hits the umami so tight. Oh God,
I'm
so
not a
good.
big fan of Chick-fil-A. I think they're overrated. I prefer Wendy's spicy
that
chicken
sandwich.
sandwich.
Chick-fil-A is good, but
that
pimento
sandwich.
cheese, barf.
Dude, no, you get it on there and it starts to melt and you hit that honey on the back end. Oh, dude, it's 50 shades of amazing. I'm gonna say it right now. So
Popeyes has a good chicken sandwich.
They do.
Their filet is huge too. The one they put on
Shorter
the sandwich.
wait at Popeyes too.
Yeah, it depends on when you go to Chick-fil-A. If you go in the off hours, you can usually get
this is no joke. The last time we went to Popeyes, the filet was that thick.
Yeah,
on the
it's because they use like a whole chicken breast on it. Yeah, their spicy chicken sandwich is amazing. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go and end it now before we just do another hour-long chat on food, and I got to get going. So, all right.
You're the wrong Travis to be getting into a food chat, but the other one isn't around anymore. So I guess you're.
I'm the de facto Travi mind chef, is what I am. So yeah.
Yeah, you are now.
All right. So Tony York's, I do love to cook and I do love to bake. So Tony York's out there, New York Outcast, M. Gabriel, Defense Dad. Who else is watching today with us? We've got Mountain View in the house. We got Calaveras 32 Special, Rich White, Tommy Gunn. Rich White pulling double duty out there and over here today. Let's see who else is out there. Am I missing anybody? Don't want to miss anybody, but I only get a limited list here while I'm scrolling. X Adam 1, Kevin Jung in the house. Kevin's going to give me a place to crash if I get LASIK surgery done this summer down in Austin. Thank you, Kevin. I said I'll be paying for the Whataburger that we're going to get for lunch afterwards. Blue Steel 44 in the house. Vanessa Kitty out there also. Good to see you, Vanessa. Let's see here. Tommy Gunn, you be safe up in the land of the Canucks. And that's probably about it. Good discussions out there. Trucker X. How about called you Tropical X? Trucker X, Tactical Fud. Let's see. Is that about it? Tacos and French fries with us. Squib Lift, Squiblo, the whole Squib Empire's out there. The Squib Eyes in the house. G23 out there. MC watching today too. Scott 79 with us. We got the classic viewers out there. So, all right. So next week will be a retirement party again for Single Shot, and then we'll talk cleaning, gun cleaning, and just let you know I will be featuring Aegis gun cleaning supplies. And yes, I'm going to be promoting the brand. Yes, I'm going to put an affiliate link out there, and yes, I'm going to give you a discount code. So I'm coming up on cleaning video number 100. So I want to make it fun, make it special. So I reached out to Aegis, and they want to give us a try. So is that your Aegis cleaning kit?
Yes, it is.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. See Rich's down pages,
one of a couple
Clover.
of them.
So do you like their products?
Oh yeah, man. It's
cool.
Great stuff.
All right. I'm looking forward to using. I'll be cleaning a dirty Taurus. So yeah.
Usually you don't want to use a gun lubricant for knives, but their lubricant is thin enough where you can put it on a knife without it gunking it up as well.
Oh, nice. Just as a good stainless preservative.
This knife here,
yeah,
I just lubricated with the Aegis, and you saw how easy that opened. This is
you
not
put a little
spring
dab
load.
on the ball bearing in there, and yeah.
This is not a spring assist, folks. You see how easy that's opening.
I wonder if it'll work on my cadet. So, all right. We're gonna go ahead and go, guys. I want you guys to take care, have fun, be safe. We'll see everybody next Saturday. Have a wonderful weekend. The Travis P11 channel turns 9, I think next week, maybe in 7 days. If you go to my Ruger 9E video that I did, it was a Nut and Fancy Link production, and it was one of the first range tests out there in the Ruger 9E. I even filmed it upright because I didn't know I could turn my camera sideways, my phone sideways. And that's it. So, guys, have fun, be safe, take care, get out to the range, do some shooting. And as you know, we'll talk to you soon.